73, I'm going to share something that may unsettle you. Every assumption you hold about aging is fundamentally mistaken. And the most troubling fact, those who ought to guide you, your family, your mentors, the culture around you, are either misinformed or are not telling you the whole truth. For my first 5 decades, I subscribed to the very same illusions you might accept today. I was convinced I understood how life worked. I had the profession, the home, the admiration from others. Then at 52, an experience dismantled every certainty I possessed. What I've uncovered in the 21 years that followed has utterly transformed my perspective on existence, mortality, and all that lies in the middle. Before I share that story, you must grasp my motive. This isn't about seeking admiration or posing as some sage. I'm here because my own hours are finite, and there are truths you must learn before your chance passes. Not for my sake, for yours. At 52, I experienced what medical professionals term a cardiac episode, a polite phrase for my heart nearly giving out. I was in a conference reviewing fiscal forecasts when the world began to tilt. My next memory is a hospital room, wires connected to my arms, my wife weeping quietly nearby. The physicians said I was fortunate. I had just stared directly at the end of my life and they called it luck, but they were correct. Because in that sterile bed with only my thoughts for company, I understood something chilling. I had been navigating my entire existence unconsciously. I wasn't truly living. I was merely following a script, fulfilling duties, striving to satisfy external expectations. This next thought still visits me in quiet hours. Had my heart stopped for good that day, what would my departure have meant? A well-kept property? A padded savings account? A list of accomplishments forgotten in half a decade? Let me address the most common fiction you're likely telling yourself at this moment. There's still time. I'll get to that eventually. Once I'm older, I'll pursue the life I truly desire. I observe people in their 20s, 30s, even 40s repeating identical mantras. When my income rises, then I'll find contentment. After that promotion, then I'll unwind. Once the children are independent, then I'll explore the world. When I retire, then I'll finally follow my passions. Allow me to spare you decades of sorrow with one straightforward reality. That mythical then never arrives. Why? Because the targets continually shift. You secure the promotion and immediately you need the next one. You earn more and suddenly you require even more. You perpetually pursue something just beyond your grasp until one day you're 70 and questioning where the years disappeared. I lived this. I devoted 30 years ascending a corporate ladder only to reach the summit and discover it was placed on the wrong building. You cannot simply descend and begin again. Time does not offer that luxury. Here's a secret rarely shared with the young. Success is a hollow ambition. I state this as someone who attained every objective I pursued. I reached the highest tier at my company. I purchased the impressive home. I commanded the esteem of my peers, and it meant remarkably little. You reach a goal and for roughly 2 days you feel triumphant, then that glow dissipates. You return to your ordinary state. Now you require a new objective, a grander triumph, further approval. It's an exhausting cycle. A companion of mine passed 3 years ago at 68. He worked relentless weeks his whole life. He built a business worth millions. He never enjoyed a proper holiday. He always promised to ease up next year. That next year arrived and he suffered a stroke. At his service, his son shared, "My father was a prosperous man, but I hardly knew him." Is that the imprint you wish to leave? Your future regrets won't center on mistakes you made. They will focus on actions you never took. I don't lose sleep over failed ventures. Those are irrelevant. What haunts me? The journey to Japan I postponed for being too occupied. The bond with my brother I allowed to weaken. The novel I longed to write but never began. The evenings I missed with my children because I stayed late at the office. These omissions consume you. The chances you ignored, the paths you didn't walk, the affection you left unspoken, the chances you avoided out of fear, the individuals you cherish, your parents, your siblings, your dearest friends. You imagine you have endless days with them. You do not, and inevitably that reserve will be empty. My father died when I was 45. Our relationship was strained. I was perpetually too swamped to mend it. I assumed we would eventually talk when my schedule cleared. We never received that opportunity. A heart attack. He was gone in hours, and my most profound sorrow, all the Sundays I didn't phone him, all the instances I was too weary to visit for a meal, all the small, ordinary moments I allowed to fade. There isn't always a next time. After my health crisis, I altered my course dramatically. I reduced my professional commitments. I began declining matters of little consequence. I started accepting opportunities I had delayed for years. In these past 21 years, I've gained more wisdom about living than in the prior 52. What counts is almost laughably plain, moments with those you hold dear. Labor that feels significant to you, collecting experiences, not possessions, building memories, being truly here. I realize this sounds elementary. At your age, I would have sighed with skepticism. Of course, but I have responsibilities. and you do. I'm not advising you abandon your profession. I'm urging you not to trade what is vital for what is not. Pose yourself this question and answer with complete honesty. If your life ended tomorrow, would you feel content with the story you've written so far? Not would others be amazed by your tribute? Not did you accomplish sufficient milestones. Simply, would you feel fulfilled? If the response is negative, then what is holding you back? How are you spending your hours that justifies gambling your one irreplaceable life on it? I'm 73. I've been fortunate to enjoy stable health since that incident. Yet each dawn I recognize I am living on extra time. In truth, we all are. But most younger people don't feel this. They believe they are untouchable. They believe they have an endless future. You do not. I have 3 grandchildren. Watching them, I notice the same tendencies I see in many young adults today. They are pressured, worried, pursuing things that won't bring peace. They are repeating my errors. I attempt to advise them. I try to pass on what I've learned. But they don't truly hear me, not because they are disrespectful, but because they cannot. They are in the tumult of building a life. The broader pattern isn't visible yet. They believe their circumstances are special, that timeless truths don't pertain to them. That is why I am recording this. Because perhaps if this message reaches enough ears, someone will truly hear it. Someone will choose a different path. Someone will bypass the remorse that shadows people like me. Every single day you move nearer to the end. No one enjoys considering this. But your time is not limitless. Neither is the time of those you love. Your parents, if they are still here, are aging daily. One day, likely sooner than you expect, they will be gone. Your friends, your partner, your children, no relationship is permanent. So what will you decide? Continue delaying that conversation. Continue rescheduling that adventure. Continue telling yourself you'll find the moments later. Or will you open your eyes today and begin existing as if your days are numbered? Because they are. If I could return and speak to myself at 30, this is what I would share. Cease seeking approval from unimportant voices. Stop trading your well-being for professional advancement. Stop deferring fulfillment for an ambiguous future. Stop asking for consent to lead the existence you desire. Begin calling your parents regularly. Begin booking the voyages you imagine. Begin tackling the endeavors that intimidate you. Begin refusing tasks that deplete your spirit. Begin accepting opportunities that nourish your soul. And above all, begin immediately, not next year, not after this deadline, not when you have greater security or more free hours or some other condition. Now, because I assure you the ideal moment will never appear. Life will always be chaotic and complex, full of excuses to postpone. But if you wait, you'll awaken one morning to find you've postponed your entire existence. I am 73. With good fortune, perhaps another 10 or 15 years, possibly 20, likely fewer. And I'm at peace with that because these last 21 years have been the most valuable of my life, not due to increased wealth, because I finally began living with purpose, cherishing each morning, placing first things first. I visited destinations I long wished to see, strengthened bonds with my children and grandchildren, explored interests I once sidelined, released old resentments, spoken I care for you without number. I am more joyful now at 73 with fewer tomorrows than I was at 30 when I imagined time was boundless. That is the paradox. When you grasp that time is scarce, you finally start to truly live. You cease squandering it. You cease delaying happiness. You begin making the right moment. You face a decision at this very instant. Continue on your current path, chasing external validation, deferring contentment, promising yourself you'll begin later, or awaken. Recognize that time is passing more swiftly than you perceive, and the life you keep postponing must begin now. I cannot choose for you, but I can tell you this. You do not wish to be 73, glancing backward, longing for different decisions. Don't spend 52 years learning this lesson. Take insight from my missteps. Live deliberately, place importance where it belongs. Stop waiting for someday. Someday is now. It has always been now. If this connects with you, pass it along. Share your thoughts below. Tell me what you plan to change. Join the channel because I have more insights to offer and my own clock is advancing. The seconds are moving. How will you use your share?